YouTube, how's it going? Frogs Angels back with another NFL Top 100 review. Every Tuesday, we got you covered. NFL Network went from 20 to 11 interesting players. We're going to discuss our thoughts on if we agree on their position or not. So, yeah, before we get into it, our subscriber goal is 10,000 subscribers. So if you haven't clicked that button yet, please do so. It'd be much appreciated.
Do it right now.
Right now?
Right.
You want them to do it right now?
Right this second, hit that button.
Okay. Well, let's go on to number 20. Was Alvin Kamara. That's our guy here at Frogs Angels.
I love it.
Not ranked last year because
Obviously.
he was a Tennessee Volunteer. And now he's number 20 after being Rookie of the Year. I mean, I'm good with 20. He had a ridiculous season.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, I like Kamara. He's real good. And I think that this little Mark Ingram suspension is going to kind of. Mark Ingram might not start again after these couple games.
Well, yeah, he's going to miss the 4 games. So
Yeah.
then Kamara should be the guy. Even though Ingram's obviously still more than good, but
Right.
Kamara's just, especially today's NFL, like it's just you need a guy that can catch the ball out of the backfield, and he just does it at a high level. I mean, he's got everything you want in an NFL running back today, basically. So I'm good with 20. He was just a rookie, so but I'm still all right with it because I'm a big fan, obviously. Liked him in the pre-draft process and everything, so I'm good with 20. On to number 19, Everson Griffin, the Minnesota Vikings defensive end. Last year was number 92, and now he's number 19.
What a guy.
I'm good with this. I'm still surprised that Harrison Smith wasn't the number 1 rated Viking. I'm still a little so even though Everson Griffin's probably right there with him, I'm just a little surprised by that. But Everson Griffin, maybe out of the defensive ends in the NFL, I think has the best get off or burst right off the snap. We've seen him jump the snap maybe too early sometimes, but so in that category, I think he's at the top. Maybe with his spin moves, probably at the top. So that's another debate, though. Is he the best 4-3 D end in football? That's another debate, but I'm okay with him being at 19. I was just surprised he was the highest rated Viking.
I don't think he gets as much credit as he deserves.
I think maybe now he does, being 19.
Mm-hmm. But like you didn't hear, like nobody really raves about him, like all season long, and the work he's putting in, and like how good he's playing consistently. I think it needs to be recognized, and I think putting him here definitely recognizes that.
And it's about time. Yeah, you see that jump 92 to 19. I don't think there was a big difference in 2 years ago between last year. So that's maybe one flaw from this ranking system. Sometimes you see the guys that they basically played the same, maybe a little better, and then you just finally notice them somehow. Just because because the Vikings team was more noticeable, so I guess he got noticed more. So I guess that makes sense. But on to number 18 on the list from last night, Ben Roethlisberger, 18. He went from 22 to 18. Did he play better? Is that why he went up 4 spots? Now, here's my take.
Let's hear it.
Now, I had my quarterback ranking, so you might see this coming. I don't want to come off as a Big Ben hater because obviously he's a Hall of Famer. Obviously he's really good. But right now at his career, I don't think he's playing 18 best player. I don't think he's playing at that level. I wouldn't even put him at 22. I think you look at he's playing good still, but 18. I mean, there's definitely better quarterbacks. You look at it, who his targets are. Does he have the best targets in football? You talk about Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, all those guys. They got Juju Smith-Schuster now. I mean, they just traded Martavis Bryant, but they had him. Overall, he probably has the best targets in football. So you would think he'd play at a higher level even because he is throwing some interceptions. He does have a lot of off-target throws. I believe the last 2 seasons he was up there in terms of off-target throws for quarterbacks. So he's fortunate he didn't have even more interceptions. So, I mean, still playing good, but 18, it's a little high in my opinion because the guy with those targets should be playing better, I think.
I just got one little take here. It's not too hot, just a little take.
Okay.
People forget he did lose to Mike Glennon.
He did lose to Mike Glennon. For the players voting, they should remember that and move him down just for that.
Just for that game alone, yeah, that's all I got to say.
Can't lose to Giraffe Glennon. I mean, throwing big-time interceptions in the Jags games, too. It's just they lose the Jags twice. Jags defense showed up, and they're very good, but Big Ben played a big part in that. So, obviously, future Hall of Famer. Obviously, still good. I think
he should be high on this list, but not this high.
I agree.
That's all.
All right. 17 was Jalen Ramsey. Speaking of the Jags defense, not ranked last year, at number 17 this year. I'm good with this ranking. You know, you can argue the best corner. If you don't say he's the best corner in football, he's got to be second. Covers the top target each week, so very impressive. And one thing that people forget about Jalen Ramsey was when he was coming out, people didn't know if he was a safety or corner. And if he was a safety right now, he would be a top 5 safety in the NFL. Just think about that. The best corner or one of the best corners would also be one of the best safeties. That's pretty insane. So I'm good with 17. Very young. He can continue to get better, and that's the scary part.
Very scary. I thought he'd be higher, but I'm okay with this.
Yeah, I think the only reason why he wasn't higher is maybe because he wasn't ranked last year. Hard to get a guy from not ranked to jump up that much. Mm-hmm. Does do some trash talking. So if it is by the players, do the players that don't like him, do they not vote him where they really think he should be? That's another good question too, because with the player, that's a flaw if the players are voting. But I mean, who else is better to vote than the players? I guess I always want to know what players are voting, because you heard players in the past be like, I didn't get asked to vote for this, so it's very interesting. But I think for the most part, we agree with 17. On to number 16 is Khalil Mack. He was 5 last year, 5 to 16. Maybe stats-wise, he wasn't as good as 5 this year, but I still think he's got the same talent and could be number 5. But I'm good with 16 off last year. I mean, the Raiders' defense altogether was not that good. So maybe that
team in general.
Yeah, that's true. So maybe that affected him a little bit. So I'm okay with the fall from 5 to 16, but does that mean he lost that number 5 talent or skill? No, it doesn't.
Yeah, I'm going to say no.
The Raiders got to get it together. I think he honestly could be the best defensive player in football. I know people right now would say Aaron Donald. People would say Von Miller maybe if J.J. Watt's 100% healthy, him. But it's not a reach if you say Khalil Mack can be the defensive MVP like going into a season.
I'd be a fool if I disagreed with you.
Yeah, so 16 I'm good with, but again, he could get back to that 5. I think it's on more of the team than him. I don't think it's a position where, you know, sometimes in other sports or you see a guy because he's got like weaker players around him, then he goes off. I don't think that's really a position. I think you need better guys around him. I think you need to have another opposite him, a pass rusher that will scare the other team, so that helps his production even more. So I think the team matters a lot in this position. On to number 15, it was Rob Gronkowski, number 23 last year, number 15 this year. I actually have a problem with this. Not a big problem.
Let me hear it.
He should be higher. It's better ranked is what I mean. I think possibly the most dominant play. You take away the quarterbacks, not talking quarterbacks, QBs. He is, I think, maybe the most dominant player in all of football.
Yeah.
So I think he should be a top 10 player. His dominance showed last year, even though they win the Super Bowl. But 23 to 15 wasn't enough. Not a huge problem because 15 is obviously a good rank. But again, I'd probably put him higher. I'd put him in that 8 to 10 range.
You think if they win the Super Bowl, he's higher?
That's a good question. He probably is.
Yeah.
If they win the Super Bowl, he probably is. So that's kind of... It shouldn't really matter, I don't think. If we're talking about like single players.
But it does.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess I don't have a huge problem with 15, but again, I'd put him higher. What do you think?
I agree. I think he is, obviously minus the quarterbacks, the most dominant player, and it's just his skill, size, everything. The whole package.
He's got the route running. He's got the run after catch, even though he doesn't have the speed. Think about if he had, like, I mean, it's probably due to all the injuries, but if he had, like, Travis Kelce speed for like a tight end or even faster, like this guy would be the best player in the NFL hands down. So for him to do what he does without the speed and the quickness is just unreal to me. Wow. But he does have the size, so he's gifted with the size, so he should get it done like he does, and he does it. Yeah.
Yeah.
14, Calais Campbell, 83 last year, 14 this year. Another guy from the Jags defense. We're talking about Everson Griffin, the fourth, maybe the best 4-3 DN in football. Well, maybe it's Calais Campbell. They voted him 14. Was, I believe, second in the NFL in sacks last year. That kind of came out of nowhere. Obviously we knew he can play, but we weren't really expecting that.
Everyone was expecting a drop-off.
Yeah, going from, he was on the Cardinals. Wasn't he? He was supposed to sign with the Broncos, I believe. He before the actual signing the contract period, he agreed to sign with the Broncos, and then the Jags came out of nowhere, and people were like, the Jags really don't need him. Well, It paid off there.
Big time.
Big move. So I'm good at 14 based off last season. Can he play at that high of a level again this year? That's the question.
Yeah. Let's go.
I think he can play at a high level. I don't know if it will go higher, obviously. I don't know if he's a guy that's going to continue to improve, but it was – I mean, you can't doubt him after last year. You can't really doubt him.
They don't even need him to play at that level. They just need, like, a consistent – just a consistent play from him. I think they would take over, like, the ups and downs.
Yeah. I mean, he really helped the rookie, too, just Yannick Ngakoue. He was just a rookie that came out of nowhere, got 10.5 or so sacks. I mean, it's a big reason because Campbell, he was feared. I mean, he was feared, so then it opened things up for other pass rushers. So what he did last year, teams got to be afraid of him going forward, so it's really going to help the rest of the team out.
What was that rookie's name?
Yannick Ngakoue.
What a name.
Yeah.
Wow.
13. DeAndre Hopkins, not ranked last year. That's ranked. Incredible. I don't know how he wasn't ranked last year.
I mean, obviously, I'm gonna take the reins on this one.
All right, let's hear it.
Obviously, should have been ranked last year, but now that they kind of have this consistent quarterback play, we were able to see how good he was with all those quarterbacks they had, who were awful.
Yeah.
So now that finally they get like a good quarterback, and as long as he stays healthy, I think DeAndre Hopkins is gonna look even more unreal. Everyone already knows he's good, but he's gonna look even better.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
He honestly can be, after the season, can be the best receiver in football.
Yeah.
I mean, it does depend on Watson. Now, how do you look at that? I'm sure maybe Texans fans look at it like, once this guy gets a quarterback, he's the best in the league. If Watson stays healthy, he's the best in the league. And maybe some Texans haters will say he needs a decent quarterback to be good. And maybe there's some other receivers that do better than him when they have also a decent or worse quarterback. So there's two ways to look at it there. But I mean, you got to remember Watson was just a rookie too. So it's like, as soon as you can't even say Watson was great yet right off the bat. So I'm a believer in Hopkins. I think he's easily a top 3 receiver easily right now, and he can even move up even higher. So very impressive receiver.
I think that depending on Watson's health, we're going to see it's really going to determine Hopkins' is a wow factor. We're going to put him in the wow factor category.
Okay.
I'm a little excited for the Texans.
Yeah, I mean, their whole team has to stay healthy. If they're not healthy, we saw how bad they were, I should say, last year. But when they are healthy, you saw like they're a contender. They're actually a contender.
They were always a quarterback away.
The defense got to stay healthy too. J.J. Watt, merciless. Got to keep him on the field. Number 12, Luke Kuechly. Kuechly? Was number 20 last year, 12 this year. Did he do enough to move up? I don't know if that last season really should have made him move up that much, honestly.
I got a question.
I thought his previous season was better.
I got a question.
What is it?
Does the more head injuries you have move you up in this list?
I guess so.
So, all right. That answers my... All right. I'm okay with it then.
I mean, obviously one of the top linebackers in football. I don't have a problem with this. I'm kind of surprised he moved up 8 spots. That's all it is.
I don't think he played enough to move up 8 spots.
Yeah. So, I mean, he can still... Another one of those guys that's really not out there that you can predict to be the defensive MVP of the year. Even though they're different types of linebackers, would you have Khalil Mack ahead of Luke Kuechly, or do you like Kuechly ahead of Khalil Mack?
I think no knock towards Khalil Mack, but I think that Luke Kuechly, you can just... It's clear as day. You can see his love for the game of football. And I'm not saying Khalil Mack doesn't, but just Kuechly's love for the game I think is unmatched. I don't think anybody in the NFL touches it.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, they're both top-tier players,
right.
Not just defensive players.
Yeah.
I may have Khalil Mack. It's something I really have to think about. I'll eventually get to just player rankings. I've been going through position rankings here and there. But I think I would have Khalil Mack ahead of him just because how important sacks are. I know it's kind of unfair comparing them because they're 2 different linebacker positions. Mm-hmm. But that's an interesting debate. It's interesting to split up the defensive players in general. But we'll go on to number 11 here. It is Russell Wilson, number 24 last year, number 11 this year. And, I mean, I've said it before. I'll say it again. Russell Wilson maybe the best player in football. Like, you can't sit here and say he for sure is, because what Tom Brady's done, what Aaron Rodgers has done, some of these other players. But, I mean, Russell Wilson's won a Super Bowl. He's never had a good line. And, I mean, he had Marshawn Lynch at one point, but Doug Baldwin's, like, always been his top receiver. They haven't never really had anything else. I mean, if this guy had what other quarterbacks had,
wow.
It's I respect Russell Wilson a lot. He brings a lot to the table. I think this is the question I always ask myself when I say could be the best player in all of the NFL. I say if the NFL would start over right now and you had the first pick, who would you take? And I really have to think more about this, but I really think I would take Russell Wilson first overall.
Yeah, we've had this discussion a lot, and I agree. I think right now I can't help but think if he had better weapons, and that's no knock to who Seattle has, but he's never had top of the line weapons. Never.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, even when he won a Super Bowl, it was like he had Marshawn Lynch, but the offensive line was never that good.
Terrible.
And the way I think about it too, I'm obviously a Vikings fan. I don't know if anybody out there knew that, but I'm a Vikings fan, and just putting each one of these quarterbacks on my team, like which one, that's how I think of it. Like, I want Russell Wilson as my quarterback, not to knock Kirk Cousins. I'm excited about Kirk Cousins, but if I get to choose which quarterback I want on that team, my team, I want Russell Wilson. That's why I think I put him as I would draft him first overall in a redo of the NFL. That's the way I think of it. And he's not even up there in age yet, so that's another thing.
And he plays a mean shortstop.
Yeah, that's what I hear. That's what I was told. But last year, 24 jumps up to 11. I don't really have a problem at 11 because, I mean, that's where his play's at, 11. But does it have to do with his team around him? But I mean, I would put him in the top 10. But I don't have a big problem, is what I'm saying. With 11.
He'll be there. Patience.
Patience is key. But that'll do it for the top 100 recap. We got plenty more NFL and NBA content coming to the channel, and plenty of it on the channel already. So if you haven't seen any of that, go check it out. Our subscriber goal is 10,000 subscribers, so please click that subscribe button.
Would we take more?
I mean, we'll take more. Okay. We're trying to get to 10 first, though, before we ask for more.
Okay, I thought we were capping at 10.
And then just calling it?
Just calling it a day.
No,
yeah.
We're never calling it.
Okay.
All right. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more. Goodbye.
Bye.